How's it going, guys? Trader Neil here, back at you with another crypto video. So today we're going to be talking about Bitcoin. We're going to be talking about the Bitcoin pullback that happened over the weekend and pretty much where I think we are going to be going in terms of price action locally. But before I get started, guys, I would very much appreciate it if you all like this video, subscribe to my channel here at Trader Neil, and of course hit that bell icon so you don't miss any of my future videos. I try to push these videos out to you guys and give you an idea of where I think price action is going. And in my opinion, it is a crucial time to be watching Bitcoin. So definitely share this video, send it to whoever may be interested in potential long-term buys on BTC because I think we're almost there. All right, guys, let's get started. Alright everyone, so we are going to actually start out by looking at BTC here on a logarithmic scale because overall my thoughts here on BTC can be really well summarized by looking at a scale like this. So looking at Bitcoin price action here from all the way back in 2013 to current prices, it's kind of interesting to look at the chart here, honestly, guys, because the way that I see price action and the way that I'm trying to conceptualize and view this can be really well documented here on the log scale for BTC. And so as you guys can see, even though on the weekly on the log scale, as you guys can see, price action is sort of rounding off, I wouldn't necessarily consider this to be any sort of like bearish break of trend even now. So of course, as an asset goes from literally zero to multi-trillions of market cap, guys, of course you're not going to get like straight up price action like this forever. I think there's a lot of people out there that have this really construed point of view that think that price action here on Bitcoin literally should be going like this if this asset is going to be going higher in the future. I think that is just like, I don't know, maybe like, is it wishful thinking? I wouldn't really use that term for it. I actually would say that that is just ignorant thinking because as an asset goes up and up and up over time, you're not going to see price action on that asset on logarithmic just continuously push to the upside like this. That's kind of just farce. What I will say is if you look at the gold chart here, guys, so here's a really good example of what I was just talking about with Bitcoin, just talking in terms of gold now, guys. So what I showed you guys with Bitcoin, this is the similar parabolic move up that you saw on Bitcoin that you see on gold now. And now for Bitcoin, instead of going sideways and nearly down for the next couple of years, Bitcoin is actually doing something different here, right? So if you look on the weekly here on BTC, not only did Bitcoin get that more so like parabolic move to the upside, as you can see, but Bitcoin is actually holding stronger than gold did at these same levels. And so Bitcoin is actually, in my opinion, showing that it is a stronger asset in its same stages as gold was. And so what I see here is on the logarithmic scale, I see price action holding here quite well. Not gonna lie to you guys. Like, I like the taps of support here on this demand line here on BTC. And even if Bitcoin comes down here to tap this level, which is sitting here at about like 67K or so, that would still be fine in terms of a higher time frame point of view on BTC. And I want to show you guys a couple things as to why I still think Bitcoin could be pushing higher in this bull cycle. Let me turn them on for you right now. And so first off, we're going to be looking at the Pi Cycles indicator. Looking at the Pi Cycles indicator, guys, ever since this indicator has started tracking data back in 2013, this has successfully called the top 4 times in the Bitcoin market and has even recently called the bottom almost to a T in the bear markets. And so far, guys, we haven't seen the Bitcoin Pi Cycle indicator call a new top for this market. And so I am truly under the belief that I still think that Bitcoin could be squeezing out another high this cycle. Not only with that, the other thing that's going to tell me that it's probably a good idea to continue to hold BTC on a higher time frame, again guys, this is the weekly, I'm not talking about any lower time frame fluctuations of price or anything like that. The weekly 50 simple moving average, you guys have heard me like try to hammer this into your guys' heads ever since I started talking about it like a month or two ago. I actually talked about it even 3 or 4 months ago when Bitcoin was sitting here, in the last summer of 2024, whenever we were hanging around it during that Bitcoin death cross that was going on. And I was pretty much saying the same thing I'm telling you guys now, that anytime Bitcoin has hit this level, the 50 SMA, anytime the weekly continues to close above it, I am still going to be looking for higher prices. And even locally, guys, we have a similar situation if the weekly closes as is. And I know, guys, we still have 6 days till that weekly candle close. Nevertheless, if Bitcoin can close this weekly candle above the simple moving average here on the weekly, I'm still going to stay bullish on this market. If it does close above the weekly 50, you got examples here back in 2021, examples here even last year, and of course any of the retests that you can see that have successfully flipped the 50 into support. Of course, guys, if you see something similar to what you saw in December of 2021, where we flipped the 50 simple into resistance and then come down and even bearishly retested, of course, that's going to be bearish on the overall market. And then I would be looking at a potential Bitcoin bear market over the next couple months at the very least. But for now, if the weekly closes above this level, guys, I'm still going to be looking for higher prices this cycle on Bitcoin. Alright guys, we're going to be looking at the lower time frame point of view on BTC, but first, just a quick word from my sponsor. Alright guys, so I am back. We are going to be talking a little bit about my sponsor, Breakout Prop Firm here. So Breakout is a great prop firm that you can be using in crypto right now, guys. So the thing that I really love about Breakout is in uncertain times like this, you are going to be getting a great handful amount of people, maybe it's even you, that are trying to trade these markets but don't feel like you have enough capital or don't want to risk your own capital to be able to trade these markets and want an easier way to be able to jump into trades on leverage and try to make some quick day trading profits. And in my opinion, Breakout Prop Firm is a great place to be doing that. So breakoutpropfirm.com, guys, I'll put the link right up here. But essentially, guys, a prop firm for crypto is a platform you can use to be able to trade with this account and with this prop firm's funds. So if you guys want, you guys can sign up for a 1 or 2 step account here. And essentially, you get from a $5,000 account all the way up to a $100,000 account of equity here on Breakout. And if you guys purchase any one of these accounts, you guys can essentially trade after hitting their step 1 goal on any of these accounts. So for example, if you bought the 100K account here, guys, all you have to do is trade Bitcoin, ETH. They've got a great amount of altcoins on their exchange, and just hit that 10K goal. If you have a 100K account, that's just 10% of the account, guys, and then boom, you are immediately trading with $100,000 of capital. So you can be trading with 100K, be a funded trader, and make up to 90% profit split on those trades on a daily basis. Of course, they've got max daily loss, max drawdown, so you don't blow the whole account, but that's where your skill comes in, and that's where you guys can be able to show up and be able to try to hit that goal for any of your steps. And honestly, guys, in a market like this, rather than putting up 100K of your own capital if you have it, or even putting up 5K of your own capital, why do that when you can spend a small $55 fee all the way to an $800 fee for 100K capital, risk that, and then not have to worry about blowing your whole actual funds in your account? So if you guys want to sign up to Breakout, it's breakoutpropfirm.com here, guys, and then use my link for sure in the top right here so you guys can get a great discount on your evaluation fee. I use Breakout myself and I love them. Alright guys, back to the video. Alright guys, so real quick, let's talk about Bitcoin on lower time frames as well. So looking at BTC here on the daily time frame, as you guys can see, we have put in a move over the weekend of 11% down on BTC. So as you guys saw all over crypto Twitter, etc., people were calling for the decoupling here on BTC compared to the stock market on Friday. Bitcoin was holding at this same level around 82k while the stock market was absolutely tanking. So people were calling for the decoupling for BTC, etc. Overall, guys, that caught up to us over the weekend, and Bitcoin did put a move in all the way to 75k overnight. So it did have a pretty negative down move. And then overall, here's the thing that I'm thinking about these coins, guys, and for Bitcoin specifically. I am going to be trying to get bullish in this area as long as your previous range highs hold here. And so I think let's not make it too overcomplicated. I'm not gonna lie, guys. I really think the best way to be looking at things is looking at this 73,676 level as a line in the sand. While I don't believe and don't like perfect retests on Bitcoin, like I wouldn't want to see BTC come down, tap this level, and then immediately push up. I don't think that's what we're going to get. But if we were to get that, as long as you get daily closes, really anywhere above 73k, guys, I still think that Bitcoin could push higher in the short term, and this is just a retest. My thing with it is if you start to see Bitcoin close under that 73k level, that's when you got to start looking for value in this range again, like we did last summer. So if you see Bitcoin close below 73k, I think you're gonna have to start looking for your value area high, point of control, and potentially all the way down to your value area low here, guys, at 60k. And here's the thing, like I talked to you guys about the pi cycle indicator already. I talked to you guys about the 50 simple moving average on the weekly. If Bitcoin starts closing daily candles under 73k, I can guarantee you that by the end of the week, it is probably 90% certain that Bitcoin isn't going to run it back up and close above that 50 simple moving average at the end of the week. I think it's pretty less likely, guys. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it for you. And so you really got to see Bitcoin continue to grind up here and hold above this previous range high level from last summer to see higher prices locally, at least the way that I'm looking about it. But for now, I do think that Bitcoin on the daily could put in technically an SFP candle here. And so an SFP essentially means that if this liquidity wick on the daily, if Bitcoin closes the daily candle today in 4 hours and 30 minutes above 676, I do think that there is a chance that Bitcoin goes up in the shorter term. And overall, as a bull, that's exactly what you would want to see, is strength in Bitcoin in the short term. Locally, guys, the issue with this market is that you do have bearish market structure here. So on the daily, ever since really you put in your highs, your all-time highs here, guys, you had your all-time highs, a low, lower high, and then that's when you really started to break it here on BTC. Once the daily closed really below 94k, that's when you started putting this bearish market structure in with the lower high, lower low, lower low, lower high, and then ever since then it's just been a slew of lower lows and lower highs, guys. But what you want to see here as a Bitcoin bull is something like this, where you see a base put in, where you see Bitcoin put in a rally, close a daily higher high, or even just put in a bit of a range here, guys, so you can see something like that. You just want to see stability in this chart. You don't want to see price action continue to just slide down and to the right like this. You want to see bull step in and push price up and continue to at least keep it above your previous range highs here. That's my idea. Now, I'm going to give you guys a freebie here. If you guys are looking to take a trade, I would be interested, even if this isn't going to necessarily be good for the long-term strength of the Bitcoin market. If we do get a previous range retest here or a golden pocket range retest here, I would be looking to take a trade there, because even if I'm not a big believer in perfect retest, I do think you have enough confluence here to be looking at that, especially because that's your previous value area high from this summer range here too. So I would be looking at something like this at the very least for some sort of pity bounce, guys. And so something like this, and if the range retest really does work out perfectly, you could potentially take this all the way back up to at least 94k in my opinion, if it holds. keyword if it holds, guys. You do have a lot of confluence here. This is your previous range high, golden pocket, value area high. You want to see that hold, and that's like the big level I'm looking at. If we do get a retest there. Now, if I take an anchored VWAP here from these lows, guys, from August of 2024, We'll let that load. And if I take an anchored VWAP from our current all-time highs, guys, the all-time high one doesn't really affect current price. That's coming all the way up here. But I would really like to see Bitcoin close above your anchored VWAP level here, guys. Because ever since this anchored VWAP level was put in back in August of 2024, almost the entirety of this price action has been taking place above that level. Even locally, when we had a daily close under it, it was immediately reclaimed back in the middle of March. And so right now we've barely retested that anchored VWAP level. I would really like to see Bitcoin get above there so I could start getting bullish on this chart again. Otherwise, guys, like, I think you just got to be careful here because Bitcoin is really at a slippery slope. You don't want to see BTC start to close in this bottom side of this range because, not gonna lie, if you start to close under this value area low here on BTC at 70k or so, guys, the likelihood you see 59k is very high. Because most of the time when you see a value area high loss like this, you come down and see the value area low next, guys. Like if I pull that same thing up with our upper range here on Bitcoin, you can see this exact thing happened where you had price action, lose the value area high, hit the point of control, and then obviously come down to the value area low. No matter how you pull it, even if you pull it to this current price action back here, you had the same exact scenario. And so you really, really want to see Bitcoin stay anywhere above 73k to get bullish again. My thoughts here on BTC stay the same as long as we are above 73k and above that 50 simple moving average. I want to see higher prices, but I got to see some levels reclaimed. And like I said, I really would like to see stability here. So a really good example of this, guys, is when we saw our range last summer too, wherever we had this market structure shift where you saw price action start to actually level off. So as you guys can see, we were going sideways and down, except for when we started coming up to these levels here, we started making very similar lows. And what I see on this chart here with these three lows here, here, and here, looks really familiar to me as what we see with these highs and lows here. Low, low, low. So what do I want to see, guys? I really, really want to see a daily close above our last lower high level, and that last lower high level comes in at this daily right here at 83,850. If we start to see a daily higher high there, then I could see a scenario where price action comes up, puts in a daily higher high, and then you'd be looking for that higher low to potentially see a trend change here. So this is not something you are going to see in just one day, guys. You're going to have to see what happens with price action and to see bulls start to wake the fuck up and start buying this thing so you can see a market structure shift. Otherwise, the likelihood we get that range retest and come lower first, that's probably what's going to happen, guys. You just got to take what the chart gives you and continuously watch to see what bulls do and what bears do with the price action. And if you can see a bottom form here, if you can see a higher high, then you can start scouting for a higher low and get a lot more confidence in this market. All right, guys, I wanted to let you guys know because I have 3 spots left in my class here. I do teach 4-week classes, guys. I've hosted 11 of these over the last now 3 years. And if you guys want to sign up and join my Discord, you guys can, and you guys can join my Discord where I give exclusive signals just to you guys. And just to my students. All you have to do is sign up to my 4-week course below using the tiny URL. I'll post this Twitter link in the comment section in the description, of the YouTube, and you guys can check that out. And so that's pretty cool, and I'm pretty sure that's all I got for you guys today. So just stay safe out there, guys. I hope you guys have a fantastic week, and don't get liquidated out there, guys. That's why I'm trying to show you guys the levels that I'm looking at for you to stay safe and look for confirmations before making any, let's say, rash decisions. All right, guys, that's all I got for you today. This is Trader Neil signing out. Have a good one. Peace.